Hi, this is Andrew from Splatinum, and we are here with DatsiK and Adam, of course.
Hey,
what's up, it's a little ravey, so we're talking awfully loud.
We're actually in a trailer just near the venue, as you can see from the shitty wood paneling. Actually, this is the Green Room at Motor, which is a heavy metal club, but it's super ravey in the other room, so we're pretty stoked on it. And yeah, luckily DatsiK is here from Kelowna, BC, hooking us up with a little interview for this Platinum video blog.
Canada! Woo! Yeah!
What's up?
So, yeah, Andrew, why don't you start off?
Okay, well, I'm just gonna get straight down to business. The Mayan calendar ends in 2012. What is dubstep gonna be like in 2012?
Is it gonna bring about the apocalypse in 2012 is what he's asking.
Well, you know what's so crazy that you actually say that is because, okay, my whole life I've always grown up and just done things by the book, and for some reason, I don't know what it is, but I had this weird feeling that, you know, what if 2012 actually happens, right? You know, like I was always wondering, like, what if it happens? And that's kind of what like drove me to start making dubstep full on, quit my job, and just like go for it full tilt. So the fact that you mentioned that is pretty cool in the first place. But I think it's just gonna get, right now dubstep's going through a phase of like extremely grimy and like, you know, kind of out of control. But I think that it's like kind of like drum and bass did. I think it's going to start getting more and more refined. Yeah. I find that right now there's so many producers trying to make the same thing that, you know, eventually there'll be a few that emerge that actually are doing it right, you know? And I think that the closer and closer it gets to the apocalypse, the more the sound is going to evolve and kind of merge as one, like with new genres like drum step and dubstep. They kind of, you know, they're bridging genres, and they're kind of just blending the lines between everything, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
For sure. I mean, there's only so many places you can go from super hard shit. Like, being a fan of your stuff, I'm not sure if we can go any harder than what you've done at this point, man. Like, there's got to be some other directions we can go with it. And whether that's pulling in from other genres, whether that's pulling in from drum and bass, whether that's pulling in from electro, whether it's pulling from anywhere, or, I don't know, fucking bluegrass, whatever it's going to be that's going to come in and progress it up to the next level. So going into Canada in particular, like we're in Seattle, so we end up talking to a lot of Canadian artists. They're coming through. There's a lot of interplay between us here, like in the Northwest, and then Canada. But you guys still have a relatively small electronic music scene in there. How has it been trying to break out of that and really for you onto the world stage at this point?
You know what? For me, I've actually, this is gonna sound kind of weird, but I've actually really enjoyed having a small scene in Kelowna or wherever. You know, I'm from Kelowna, so. For me, it's been nice because we got kind of a relatively small city, about 150,000 people, and right now the only thing that's really thriving is dubstep. I mean, we went through drum and bass, but again, like electro and house and stuff isn't as prominent as like dubstep or drum and bass.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice having like a small city to kind of have as a backdrop, because you don't feel overwhelmed. Like when I went to New York, I just felt like, you know, I was a minority. You know, there's so many people. It's like you could die and no one would really even, you know, you'd just be, you know, whatever.
So have you found so that's the interesting thing, like, have you found in that small scene that people are super competitive over limited opportunities, or everybody's really supportive and just trying to build something larger?
Well, it's not really competitive. I find that it just kind of, in a smaller city, it kind of just brings people tighter, because, you know, we all love dubstep, so we're all going to be at every dubstep show, we're all going to be at every drum and bass show, and it's a cool time, it's a perfect time to bond with all your friends that are into the same shit as you. You know, it's cool. And especially in Kelowna, like, you know, first there was Excision doing all this, right? He was like pushing it like crazy, like pushing the dark side of dubstep like massively, and he was like really to my knowledge, the only real Canadian that was actually doing it at the time. And I was really inspired by all of his shit, and I told him, I was like, look, Jeff, I want to have a track that you're going to play Shambhala, and he's like, you know what, I don't think you can do it. And of course, that just fucking drove me nuts in the head, so I just went crazy with it, and I just put my all into it, and like 4 months later, I had tracks he was going to play, so it all worked out. And now it's cool, because I got a roommate living with me, his name's Chaosphere, and like, he's under my wing and I'm training him and he's gonna be an amazing producer. He already is. And we just had Downlink move in from Prince George.
Yeah,
he lives with Excision now, so him plus Adroa, we got like a tight-knit group of friends slash producers, and I think it's only gonna go up from here.
So speaking of Shambhala, the only time I didn't make it to Burning Man was when I got way too fucked up at Shambhala one year. Tell me about Shambhala. Like, what was your first experience there? As a Canadian.
I mean, I was reading an interview. That was the first time you heard dubstep was at Shambhala,
First time I heard dubstep was at Shambhala, and Shambhala was pivotal for me in my career and my life, because I was making hip hop, couldn't find MCs, nothing was really working. I had ideas out the fucking ass, but I just couldn't like finish any tunes because I could never find like good rappers that would go over my tracks well, and it just didn't work out. Then I heard dubstep and I was just like, holy fuck. It kind of just flipped my world, and I was like, alright, from here on in I'm not doing hip hop anymore, it's strictly dubstep, but I'll still add a little bit of hip hop flavor, right?
Oh, totally.
So I mean, Shambhala for me was it was life-changing for me, and every single year I go back, I go with all my friends, I go with a crew of like 60 people, all good friends of mine from Kelowna, and we just fucking party it up, and it's a blast. And I mean, since the first year I went there, I've always wanted to play there, and finally, 4 years later, last year I played for the first time. I mean, I played it at 4 in the morning, but I mean, it was legendary. Everyone stuck around. It started pouring rain. I played till 5:30 in the morning, and no one left, and it was amazing on a 100,000 watt system.
I believe it. Was it the Village?
Yeah.
Oh man, I love the Village.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
That's great. So, like we were talking to John B earlier, I mean, one of the reasons that we do this is trying to have artists interview artists and talk about things that are relevant, particularly people just starting out. I mean, other than finding and seeking out other producers to talk to be taken under their wing, what are some things you would say to developing artists at this point?
Well, like John said, it's all about being original. If you try to copy someone, you're always going to be second best. Also, I've picked up a couple things during my whole production career. One is, it's not about what you use, but about how you use it. You'll have so many people telling you which digital audio workstation is the best, but it's all about what suits your workflow the best. That's one thing I've noticed. And second of all, you gotta, at this point, especially with dubstep and anything related, it's all about thinking outside the box. The more you just try to do something that's already been done, the longer it's gonna take for you to succeed. You know what I mean? You gotta be willing to try new stuff and not be afraid of the results.
So for you, I mean, how do you do that? How do you push outside of your comfort zone? Where do you go to get that experimentation? Is it pulling inspiration from somewhere really wide, or is it like?
But now that you have fans, is it like? I mean, and that they expect like a sound from you. I mean, do you feel like, is that your job anymore, or like is that just?
See, the thing is, I've been branded with a signature sound, and you know, I rinsed it for a while, and it was successful. I mean, almost every release I put out for a while hit #1, right? Yeah. There's some like 7 #1s in 2009, but me, myself, I'm getting bored of it, so I'm not going to keep doing it, you know what I mean? And I've taken my style, it's still my style, but I've just switched it up and kind of try to make it a little bit more funky and still kind of have that 10% roboticness to it, but still kind of doing something completely different. In the last like 3 months, I've learned so much, and at this point I'm actually able to make exactly what is in my head. And it's the first point in my whole entire music career I actually have a grasp on it, and I'm able to produce what I want to make instead of coming up with happy accidents. It's great.
So how much of that do you think is from being steeped in the scene, being like living your life entirely in this world of living with other producers and producing all the time and being at the forefront worldwide of what's going on? Has that been the influence, or has it been an internal thing, just like growth on your own part?
Well, you know, it's been a bit of both. I mean, me, I've had to like grow up as an artist and just learn to accept things and try to just, you know, focus on my own style and do my own thing. but at the same time, it's also awesome living. It's also awesome living with living in a city where Excision's living, for example, right? Because he's my friend and he's also a very successful dubstep artist. So I always have cool ideas and I'll just bounce it off him, see what he thinks. You know what I mean? And it's like nothing. It's become so second nature that it's like completely integrated with my life now. And it's not like, it's weird because like you can separate the two or you can put them together, and when you put them together it kind of, you can reveal more emotion in your music and just kind of do what you're feeling, you know what I mean?
So that brings up another question for me. Dubstep in particular, my feeling right now is the direction that it needs to go is towards expressing more emotion. We can't just just keep fucking face punching people all night. Like,
yeah, I agree. I agree completely.
Yeah.
And right now, for me, a lot of motivation or a lot of inspiration for me comes from my friends on the East Coast, like people like Dr. P and Flux Pavilion and Charlie Snatcher, where they're really starting to make more melodic kind of things, but still keeping that super kind of jump up and rage kind of jump up and go crazy.
Flux
you know what I mean?
Pavilion is like, he's so deceptively simple. Like, he doesn't use a lot of production tricks. He just has really good hooky melodies.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's simple, great rhythms, and it's really inspiring to see somebody like, let's strip away all the wobble, let's strip away all the tricks, and let's just write some good fucking songs.
Exactly, and it's seriously, for me, it was fundamental that happened soon, like now, because now like I'm starting to like step backwards, and instead of focusing on purely how to make the coolest production, I'm starting to think more musically.
Exactly.
And it's helping a lot with the more recent stuff I've been making.
Yeah, because that's how you make songs that are going to stand the test of time.
Exactly. Like,
because today's hot production technique is tomorrow's joke.
Exactly.
Like, that's tomorrow's put a donk on it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And like, if you look at drum and bass too, like you look at the people that are at the top, you know, John B, Noisia, Spore, right? Like you look at Noisia and Spore, they're so melodic, yet they're amazing producers, right? Yeah. Yeah. So they have both, and that's what I'm trying to do right now, right?
But they're not constantly just trying to flex nuts on their production.
Exactly.
They're using the tools when they need to, but it's just in service of the melodies, in service of the song.
And that's where I'm trying to get right now. I feel I have the production pretty well dialed. I'm trying to just get my musicality up there, and I'm thinking about taking piano lessons, music lessons, whatever it has to go down. I need to do it, and I'm focused now, and I'm dedicated, so I think it's going to happen.
That's something we've been trying to do lately, is like just pulling back and being like, so you have so many options in electronic music. You can go anywhere, there's so few rules, but let's pull back and say like, let's work with the traditional song structure. Like, what can we do in electronic music that is a verse, a chorus, a bridge, and a verse, but still doing it with dubstep, we're doing it with glitch hop, we're doing it with the realms of electronic music. Just trying to make sure that it stands the test of time, because it's so disposable in our scene. Like, the hot track is like, everybody's sick of it in a month. Like, but what is it that makes those songs that you still listen to 10 years out?
Exactly.
And for me, it's the melody.
It's a lot of content. It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Cheers. Well, dude, really appreciate the interview. Thanks so much for talking to us.
No problem. Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, pleasure.
Yeah,
Yeah, kill it today.
Congratulations.
Thanks.